Hey, welcome back to Whitetail Garage. This week, working on the 66. Gonna try and get the suspension in and pull the engine out. That's what I'm hoping to get accomplished in this episode. We'll see. Certainly gonna get the suspension in because that'll allow me to get out and degrease it. Right now, putting in springs. Lots of fun there. And I've got some stuff being painted, just some minor suspension parts, and then I want to get it rolling, and then I'll degrease it, roll it out into the driveway, degrease it, then pull it back in, and then paint the rest of the suspension, and then yank the engine out of it. Maybe not in that order, but we'll see. So over here on the driver's side, you can see kind of the situation it was left in. And like I said, I didn't get any springs. The shocks in the front end still look like they're good and fairly new, used but fairly new. At least they're not all rusted out. They've got fresh paint on them that wasn't a repaint, if that makes sense. So I'm going to hang on to those for now. Like I said, I'm going to replace what I need to, only to make sure it's safe and fun to drive. I don't want a noisy front end or a horrible steering or bad braking or any of that. So I'm gonna try and replace any of that causes issues. So the condition of this corner, like I said, I didn't have springs, so I bought springs and isolator. I got a new control arm because this control arm, obviously, that ball joint is bad, but then also the back bushing is bad. So I think this is an original control arm to the car. Like I said, the passenger side one has been replaced, and so rather than cut the rivets and replace the ball joint and then still be stuck with that, I ended up being able to get this whole control arm for about $5 more than just the U-joint. So it's a no-brainer because I get the new bushing in the back. The U-joint obviously is already installed. Now this isn't one that has a grease fitting, which is not ideal. You usually want to get one with a grease fitting, but again, the idea is that this is a temporary couple of year fix, and then I'm moving to the TCI suspension, so not terribly worried about it. This front end, this side, had some real issues with the brakes. The wheel cylinder leaked and got grease all inside here, and so I've got all new springs, all new pads, and a new drum for this side because it was covered in all that grease and has really absorbed into the cast iron. So I got a new drum for this side. The other three corners, I'm going to try and save the drum. So we'll see if that works out for me. But so next steps, I want to get the spring in and try and get the spindle mounted and get the wheel hub out of the drum and back onto this. So that way I can at least get the car rolling again. And then from there, I can come in here and clean all of this up, just the dirt, if I can roll it out in the driveway and clean it. And then I can go back in and spray this and make it nice and pretty new. So yeah, I'll put you on a time lapse and see what we got, but we'll check back in here in a minute. So I'm having to find all my bolts out of a bucket of bolts that were left for me. And so I've cleaned them with some parts cleaner and just letting them kind of dry out and organizing them just in kind of the way they look. So that's making it harder. But I'll tell you what, the Easiest way to find the bolts you need is just look it up on like CJ Pony Parts or one of those other suppliers and just see the new bolt that they're selling, what it's supposed to look like, and then go back in and just compare. That's how I'm able to figure it out. And then of course the imprinting on the part. But I've gotten this spring in, shock is mounted, shock tower is mounted. Next this is going to go in, I got to get it up on jack stands, and then I'll get that in and then move to the other side. Rear hub seal, or front hub seal. Where's the, oh, there you go, part number, National Oil Seal. Alright, so got everything done on this hub, all the way to the hub. Haven't done the brakes. I'm not going to do the brakes on either side yet because I'm waiting on one drum to come in for the driver's side. So I'm going to wait and do all the brakes all at once. Steering will go in after I get the other side complete. So moved all the tools. Now we are ready to jump on this side to get it all together. See you on a bit. I don't know if you love doing coil springs as much as I do, but here we go. I figured out to make this work a little better, I threw in a couple of sockets. Some big 3/4 inch sockets that fit over here. Give me some spacing. 3/4 inch sockets in there to space it out. That way it stays way lower than the spring. For the upper ball joint, I'm using a Moog part number 8036, K8036. So it comes with everything you need. Ball joint, all the nuts, bolts, lock washers, the boot and ball joint. So, and they're greasable. So your A-arm has to have this access for the grease port. Alright, well, all I'm doing to put it back, I don't know if it was aligned correctly the first time, right? So all I'm doing is making sure that my new one is the same length as my old one when I assemble it. So that way it's at least whatever, however well it was aligned before. I have no idea if it was aligned. The tires don't have feathering, but it's super old, so remember when you're doing these that the inner and outer have different threads, right? One of them is left-hand thread, the other's right-hand thread. So the inner is your right-hand thread, and your outer is your left-hand thread. Pretty close. Remember, in the car, drag link goes down, but the spindle comes up, right? So it should be in that configuration inside the vehicle. So I ordered the full front, I ordered the steering kit from CJ Pony Parts. So it has the drag link, the inner and outer, and the sleeve for both sides, and has the idler arm as well. So before, after. So getting all that in right now. But the suspension is in on both sides. One of the things that's interesting is it rides high. So that's on the ground, and I know you can't tell at all, but that's on the ground, and the front end is higher even though the back is on dollies. So I don't know if the rear springs are just that worn out, or if the front springs need to settle in. Not sure, but she's definitely got the opposite of a rake right now. We are missing some parts, you know, cylinder head is off of it, obviously all the front end is off of it, but I'm not sure if that's enough weight to pull that down to stock ride height or not. If you guys know, drop a comment, let me know. All right, I'm gonna call it there for today. We'll pick up again tomorrow morning. But both sides got the front suspension complete. You know, new upper ball joints, new A-arm on this side, our new lower control arm on this side, new springs. Then again, like I said, the steering kit from CJ Pony Parts, and we did it on both sides. So there's this side all set up and done. New idler arm, not that you're really gonna be able to tell, but you know, new idler arm down there, and new linkage, all part of that steering kit. Here's the drag link. I'm gonna pull the engine tomorrow. The previous owner had pulled all the head bolts except for one, and so the head gasket has to be replaced. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the engine, go ahead and freshen up all the gaskets, double check a couple of bearings, make sure I don't have any metal in the oil pan, that sort of thing, and then put it back in, and paint it while it's out too. So at least it's, you know, nice all Ford blue on the sides of it and everything like it was from the factory. So it's back on 4 wheels. So tomorrow we'll get the engine pulled and get it cleaned up, and then dive into the engine if we have time. But I want to at least get the engine pulled and get the car into the driveway so we can degrease it and start to clean up all of this, because then before the engine goes back in, I'm going to replace this panel with that guy right there. That'll replace this giant rust hole in the corner. So that's what we're doing next. See you tomorrow. All right, next day. Gonna get started on pulling the engine, get it on the stand and start going through it. Hopefully we'll have time today. I've got some other things that I got to get done, so we might have to end it early and not get it completely out. We'll see. All right, engine is pulled. Engine and transmission is pulled. It's right over there on the ground for now. I'll get it up on a stand. The entire oil pan is coated in oil, and although you can, it's pretty easy to service that pan with it in the car. Because it's a multi-piece gasket, I'd really rather it be upside down when I replace it anyway. So better that it's going on the stand anyway. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to inspect there, but you know, perhaps the front main needs to be replaced. I've got the timing chain gasket set, water pump gasket. You know, I'm going to go ahead and just replace them all. But otherwise, she sits with even more of a rake now. Not that you could tell, but you know, she's way down in the front and fully unloaded in the, or way down in the back and fully unloaded in the front. But got done everything I wanted to get done, so that's awesome. That's what I was hoping for. Front suspension, steering, and pull the engine out. I didn't think I'd be able to get to actually getting it on the stand and messing with it, but that's okay. I did want to get this out and get it pressure washed, but it's raining and nasty outside, so I didn't feel like dealing with this in the rain because the top is not really a top, so it would have to put the car out in the rain without a top, so we'll wait for a better day to do that. But yeah, otherwise, you know, all the new steering is in. You can see the idler arm there, and the drag link I've got up here that I need to put in. I didn't put it in because I knew that it'd be easier to swing that engine and transmission through there without having to fight that. So I don't know that I'd remove it if it were already installed, but it wasn't. The previous person had removed it, and I was doing the steering anyway, so rather than put it back in, I figured I'd just wait. So I got one wheel that doesn't connect to the steering wheel. But anyhow, that's where we're going to end this weekend's episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.